Everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about each of the zodiac sign, how they would be influenced by the Pisces full moon over the course of next 2 weeks. We have already gone into the detail of what the Pisces full moon will bring to the collective, both in the September lunation video where I went into a detail of it along with the geopolitical impact of it, and then in the weekly video also I have covered it. So take a look at that if you have not, just to take a overview of what's going to happen as a result of the Pisces full moon and what it means for us. Just few highlights before we go into each of the zodiac sign. This will bring back themes of 2015 in your life when the eclipses happened at this point, specifically March to November of 2015. If you would like to go back and relook at that part of your life, this is 28 degree of mutable sign. So at 28 degree of mutable sign, especially Pisces, there will be culmination, ending and release that will come with it. This is a harvest full moon. So new information which was hidden from us can also come to light, and with that will come conclusions and release, and we would be possibly creating something ethereal with this full moon over the course of next 2 weeks, which can be creative in nature, which can be spiritual in nature, which could be a product of our selfless love, which will grow in 2022 with Jupiter visiting these very degrees in May of 2022 and November of 2022. So this will be a key theme of 2022 for you as a part of your growth journey in 2022. And it will not just be part of your growth, this will be your contribution to the collective, especially to the collective healing that we will go through in 2022. So the creative breakthroughs, the epiphanies, the brilliance that you're having right now, that would come handy for the social evolution as well as the collective healing that will come about in 2022, especially with the Jupiter-Pluto sextile, which will happen in May of 2022. So look at the imagination, fantasy, creativity that you are exuding over the course of next 2 weeks and how to give physical form to that, because Pluto in 2022 will help you not just make a formal structure of that, a physical career or sort of a physical setup to it. It will also add influence, wealth and gainfulness to it. So that's what we are working with. Look at your rising sign, that is most accurate, and then followed by sun or moon sign. Sun sign I've seen most people definitely know accurately. That's why I always suggest to look at sun sign. The rising is most accurate to know. Moon sign is more relevant from a personal life perspective or emotional life perspective, but the combined effect of all three of them will tell you what are the themes for the next 2 weeks for you, all the way till 6th of October. My name is Charu. I'm your host on this journey. Let's dig in. Gemini, this full moon for you is happening on a critical axis, because this is a mutable sign and you are a mutable sign as well. Pisces is your career house. So when we have a full moon in Pisces, that is the time, especially the 2 weeks from now to 6th of October, is the time when your visibility peaks, because we have a period when you are in spotlight essentially, and it can be uncomfortable, but it is one of those periods of time in the year when we have to show what we are made of. So there could be something completing, coming to culmination, coming to light, coming to change, coming to ending when it comes to your career, because you are onto a road to a more expansive place when Jupiter comes in your sign, in your career next year. When Jupiter is going to transit your career house next year, which happens once in 12.5 years, that's the time when our visibility takes a peak. It's the period of peak visibility. So you're preparing for that. It could be that you're paving the way for it by making a change in your career, or you're finally completing a project or an initiation. It could be last 6 months that it is coming to conclusion. But if your planet's around 28 degree of Gemini, which is around 19th of June born, this could be something from 2015, which is coming to conclusion now. So end degree of Gemini, this could be a much longer theme which is coming to conclusion, which started in 2015. This is the period when you can feel very vulnerable, because the career part of your chart is very vulnerable. You've had Neptune, the planet of dissolution, creation of highest form, evolution, in your house of career since 2011. Again, Neptune spends 14 years in a house. So it's in your house of career for 14 years. There are very few signs who would get to see that. It has its positive, it has its negative, because it's a dual, Pisces is a dual sign. So the shadow side of it is that we become very fearful about it ever working out, because we see so many cycles of evolution, dissolution, uncertainty, that it can feel almost disorienting and frightening sometimes. The intent is for Neptune to slowly dissolve whatever is unreal and dislodge a previous attitude and perception about your external identity. Right now, Neptune, which is the ruler of this full moon, is retrograde. When it is retrograde, idealistic perceptions are dislodged. Unknowingly, we are disconnected from an old format of our career, and we are reaching a higher form of our external identity during this time. But we don't realize it. It can just feel very uncertain. It can sometimes even feel disillusionment, because there's just so much uncertainty. Neptune is like the sea, right? So how does the sea chip away a stone? It's like shaping the rock is through thrashing against it and slowly chipping away. So Neptune slowly chips away everything that is fake about our external identity, which is not truly ours. And during those moments when it does that, the solid world of what we thought was real, it shifts. As we're changing shape, we feel that there is a loss, but it's actually not a loss. A much more expanded image of what's possible for us in our career is being revealed to us. And that is a process you have been in the middle of since 2011. And every time we have the full moon like we do right now, and in your career house, you see a manifestation of how this wave has shaped you. It's showtime of that new shape that your career is taking as a result of this process of evolution that you have been in since 2011. It will lead to a career which normally leads to people who are idealized by others. Neptune is like cinema. It's charm. It's demigods. So Karl Marx and JFK, they had that Neptune on their 10th house as their natal chart. Doesn't mean all Geminis will become demigods. That's not what I'm saying. But having Neptune on top of your chart can put you in a career where you influence others and you are idealized by others, because it's like movie screen around you. So it could be in a field where you're representing higher knowledge, or you could be representing glamour, where you're in social work. Neptune is softer professions, where you are essentially, a softer profession doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean that. It just means that it has an element of fantasy, imagination, creativity embedded in it. And the way that profession is delivered, there's an element of charm, mystique, photography, music, dance, sometimes religion, spirituality, healing, social work attached to that. If the work is not inspirational, not all-consuming in some ways, it is not going to hold you. So at this time, if something is being released when it comes to your career, because this is the full moon at a degree of permanent ending, it's very much possible that we are releasing something as well. That is a profession that does not put you at a higher path. Jupiter coming into your house of career next year is your once in a decade opportunity to put your best foot forward in the path you want to expand in. So you are making those choices right now. You are being nudged to a higher path, to spiritual growth, to spiritual expansion. Even if you are in a traditional career, all Geminis are not going to become Karl Marx and JFK. Even if you are in a traditional career, the way you deliver and show up as a leader has to be Neptunian, charming, alluring, understanding people, social work, using the media, marketing, screen, movies, social media to reach out to a large set of people. Position where you are helping people in some ways, healing professions. You would add those elements to your career to make it more inspirational and make it to the level that your soul truly wants. And you'll find that since 2011, traditional careers might have stopped appealing to you because of that very reason. So the professions where you can influence others and you can bring higher value to others in some ways, they are the ones that inspire, because it has to come. Neptune is all about the soul. There's something which has to come from our soul in what we're delivering when it comes to our life path. Ego cannot be a driving force when Neptune is in your house of career. It has to be something at the core much bigger than you that you're working on. The goal that you have has to be way beyond you. And ego, if any, is dissolved with Neptune here. It creates some amount of insecurities, as well as it makes our nature very malleable. We are more open to non-traditional ways of leading there. And our perception about what a successful career is and what a successful life path is changed with Neptune over here. So you can go to that higher path that is meant for you. So you'll find that the next 2 weeks, you're either bringing something home. This is especially true when it comes to 28 degree of Gemini, which is around 19th of June born Gemini sun, or you're releasing something which is not part of your future journey. Either ways, you're putting down the seeds of what you're going to grow. This step is critical to your growth in 2022 when Jupiter and Pluto come together in a sextile and they create a formal structure of your career. And how would that structure of the career, in my view, would look like, apart from becoming the Karl Marx or the JFK, somebody who helps people, revered by people, brings a different, unique ideology to a large set of people. Apart from that, what would also be very much part of the profession is what Pluto in your house of joint resources is trying to teach you. Pluto over here is asking you to own your power, especially in joint situations. Saturn was here in 2017, and since then it has been changing the structure through which you connect with other people. Your boundaries with other people has been restructured. The rules of the road when it comes to intimacy, when it comes to depth of relationships, when it comes to how you use your emotional power to connect with others. Because Gemini, you are a mutable sign. Mutable signs are flexible. They are flexible. Sometimes that can be taken as a weakness because we're not stubborn about stuff. So when Saturn is here, we are given a discipline for transformation, which started for you in 2017 when Saturn was here, and it extended till 2020. And now is the time Saturn has moved to your house of adventure. We start structuring how to deliver what you've learned now. But Pluto is still in your house of power. It is asking you, own your strengths, discipline your transformation, detox what is bringing you weakness, become financially responsible, not give your power away when it comes to joint financial situations especially. And when we own that part of ourselves, the way you'll come across in your career is very transformative. There's no weakness there. As much as there's flexibility to adapt to a new life path, there's a constant that is created within yourself where you own your power, especially in joint situations, because your gains will be through working jointly with people. And the core is stable, especially when you have to earn from other people. Because when Pluto is here, our power comes and our rebirth comes through other people. So when Pluto and Jupiter, they work together in your 10th and 8th house, you will gain from other people, you will gain from deeper profession, you'll gain from your deeper knowledge, you'll gain from having and owning your emotional power, you'll gain from giving structure to tough situations, owning your head in tough situations, in crisis situations. Pluto in the 8th house is the person who gains in a crisis, who creates gainful structures of careers in financial crisis, global crisis. It's the person who does not lose it when there is a crisis. It's the person who owns their power when there's a transformative phase, which collectively we are going through. And that's you. So having Pluto over here, right now it's at 24 degrees. So especially Gemini rising sun moon around 24 degree, which is around 15th of June born, would be feeling this very intently. It brings a reformation of your power. It brings also a detox, restructure of your physical body, the way we show up powerfully in our body. It's detox of anything that blocks you, whether it is a food item, it is you can powerfully get rid of a food ailment which is bothering you and blocking your physical body to show its full strength. It's owning your power. Pluto in its own house is all about owning your power in joint situations and detoxing anything that is bringing weakness to you. Because when next year you have Jupiter at the top of your chart, it is the time to expand and gain from your career, financially especially. Pluto in your house of money. 8th house is the house of finances. You have to gain financially out of what you're creating in your career next year. So this is the time when you're paving the road to it. You're paving the road to that setup that's going to go live in May of 2022. So that's what I have for you, Gemini. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next video now.